You've probably heard that seed oils are toxic, that they cause inflammation, that they're destroying your metabolism, that cutting them will fix your body. But what if that's not the full story? What if the real issue isn't the oil itself, but context? What if you cut seed oils completely for 30 days? No soybean oil, no sunflower oil, no corn oil, no canola oil, no processed foods containing them. 30 days. What would actually happen inside your body? Hi, I'm Dr. Emily Carter, and today we're not doing internet fear. We're not repeating trends. We're looking at physiology, because seed oils are not poison, but they are not neutral either, and the truth sits somewhere in between. Seed oils are high in omega-6 fatty acids. Omega-6 fats are essential. Your body needs them, but here's the key word: balance. Your body also needs omega-3 fats. The problem in modern diets isn't that omega-6 exists. It's that the ratio between omega-6 and omega-3 has shifted dramatically. Historically, humans consumed roughly a 1.1 to 4.1 ratio. Today, in many Western diets, that ratio can reach 15.1 or even 20.1. That imbalance matters because omega-6 fats are involved in inflammatory signaling. Not inflammation is bad, but inflammation as a biological response. Inflammation is part of healing, but chronic low-grade inflammation is different. Now imagine you remove seed oils for 30 days. What changes first? Probably not what you expect. The first thing that changes is not your blood markers, it's your food environment. Seed oils are in most ultra-processed foods, fast food, packaged snacks, dressings, restaurant meals, fried foods. When you cut seed oils strictly, you automatically reduce processed food intake. That alone changes sodium intake, sugar intake, calorie density, additive exposure. Many people attribute the results to removing seed oils, when in reality they removed ultra-processed food, and that distinction is important. Within the first week, some people notice less bloating, more stable digestion, slightly reduced water retention. But is that from seed oil removal directly, or from fewer processed carbohydrates and sodium? Often, it's the combination. Now let's talk about fat metabolism. Omega-6 fatty acids are incorporated into cell membranes. Your cell membranes are partly built from the fats you consume. When omega-6 intake is very high and omega-3 intake is low, membrane composition shifts. That shift can influence inflammatory signaling molecules. If you cut seed oils and replace them with olive oil, avocado oil, whole food fats, fatty fish, you change fatty acid composition over time. But here's something most people don't know. Cell membrane turnover takes time. 30 days is enough to begin shifting patterns, but not enough to completely remodel every tissue. So dramatic overnight transformations are unlikely. However, if your previous diet was high in fried foods, high in packaged snacks, high in industrial oils exposed to repeated high heat, you may notice improved skin clarity, reduced joint stiffness, slightly better energy stability. Because oxidized fats repeatedly heated, can increase oxidative stress, and oxidative stress contributes to inflammation. The real concern with seed oils isn't simply omega-6, it's oxidation. High heat, repeated frying, poor storage, these create lipid oxidation products. Those compounds may increase inflammatory burden. If cutting seed oils means cutting deep-fried foods, that can reduce oxidative stress exposure. Now here's the nuance. Cold-pressed seed oils used in moderation, not repeatedly overheated, within a diet rich in omega-3 fats, are not inherently toxic. But in the modern diet, they rarely exist in moderation. They exist in excess. And excess shifts balance. After 2 to 3 weeks without seed oils, some individuals report more stable energy, fewer afternoon crashes. Improve skin tone, reduce cravings for fried foods. Again, is this purely biochemical? Partially, but behaviorally, it matters too. When you remove a major category of processed food, you increase dietary awareness. Awareness alone changes eating patterns. Now let's address body fat. There is no strong evidence that seed oils uniquely cause fat gain. Fat gain occurs from sustained calorie surplus. However, highly processed foods containing seed oils are easy to overconsume. They are energy dense. They are hyperpalatable. Removing them may reduce calorie intake naturally, which can lead to fat loss. Not because seed oil was magic, but because context changed. Now, could omega-6 excess contribute to metabolic stress? Potentially. High omega-6 relative to omega-3 may promote pro-inflammatory signaling. Chronic inflammation can worsen insulin resistance. Insulin resistance influences fat storage. So indirectly, imbalance matters, but balance is the key word. 30 days without seed oils could reduce processed food intake, improve omega-3 to omega-6 ratio, reduce exposure to oxidized fats, lower inflammatory burden, improve dietary quality overall. But it won't detox your body overnight. It won't reverse decades of diet in a month. It will, however, reveal something important. If you remove seed oils and feel better, ask yourself why. Was it the oil or was it the overall food pattern? Real medicine asks better questions. Seed oils are not poison, but neither is unlimited industrial oil consumption neutral. Context determines impact. If you try 30 days without seed oils, replace them intelligently. Increase omega-3 intake. Use stable fats for high heat cooking. Reduce ultra-processed foods. Then observe digestion, skin, energy, cravings, body composition, and then decide consciously. Not from fear, not from trends, from data. Let's break illusions, because the conversation about seed oils online is usually emotional, not biological. It's either they're killing you or they're perfectly harmless. But physiology is rarely extreme. It's about mechanisms, and mechanisms take context into account. Seed oils are rich in linoleic acid, an omega-6 polyunsaturated fatty acid. Linoleic acid itself is essential. Your body cannot make it. It must come from food. It plays a role in skin barrier function, cell membrane structure, and normal immune signaling. So why the controversy? Because linoleic acid can be converted in the body into arachidonic acid. Arachidonic acid is used to produce signaling molecules called eicosanoids. Some eicosanoids promote inflammation. Not pathological inflammation necessarily, but inflammatory signaling. Inflammation is not the enemy. It's a biological tool. You need it to fight infections and repair tissue. The problem is chronic low-grade inflammatory tone. That's the subtle, persistent activation that doesn't feel like sickness, but gradually stresses blood vessels, insulin signaling, and cellular health. Now imagine a modern diet high in seed oils and low in omega-3 fats from fish. That ratio shifts membrane composition. Cell membranes are built from the fats you eat. When omega-6 dominates heavily, the pool of arachidonic acid can increase. That may tilt the inflammatory balance toward higher baseline signaling. Does that automatically mean disease? No, but it may increase susceptibility in combination with other stressors. High sugar intake, sleep deprivation, chronic stress, lack of movement. Now here's where the 30-day experiment becomes interesting. If you cut seed oils for 30 days and replace them primarily with extra virgin olive oil, whole food fats, nuts, fatty fish, and minimally processed foods, several biological changes can begin. First, dietary omega-6 intake drops, not to zero because many whole foods contain some, but significantly. At the same time, if omega-3 intake increases, the ratio shifts. Over weeks, cell membrane fatty acid composition slowly begins adjusting. Red blood cell membranes can reflect dietary fat changes within weeks to months. 30 days won't completely transform tissues, but it begins the direction of change. Second, you likely reduce intake of highly refined carbohydrates. Most ultra-processed snacks and fast foods use seed oils because they are cheap and stable for manufacturing. Removing seed oils from your diet almost forces you to avoid many packaged foods. That means lower exposure to refined starches, sugar, sodium, and additives. Blood sugar stability improves not because seed oils were uniquely toxic, but because the dietary pattern shifted toward whole foods. Third, oxidation exposure changes. Polyunsaturated fats are more prone to oxidation than monounsaturated fats like those in olive oil. When seed oils are repeatedly heated at high temperatures, especially in commercial frying, they can form lipid oxidation products. These compounds may increase oxidative stress and endothelial dysfunction when consumed in large quantities. Oxidative stress damages cell membranes and mitochondria. Mitochondria are your cellular energy generators. When mitochondrial function is impaired, energy production becomes less efficient. That can manifest as fatigue, slower recovery, or reduced metabolic flexibility. Cutting out fried foods cooked in repeatedly heated oils for 30 days may reduce oxidative load. That alone could explain improvements in energy and skin clarity some people report. Now let's talk about adipose tissue, body fat. Polyunsaturated fats are incorporated into fat tissue as well. High linoleic acid intake over time increases its presence in adipose stores. Some researchers hypothesize that higher levels of stored linoleic acid may influence how fat tissue responds to inflammatory signals. This is still debated, but mechanistically, fat tissue is not just storage. It's hormonally active. It secretes cytokines and adipokines that influence insulin sensitivity. If reducing seed oil intake lowers overall inflammatory tone and improves insulin sensitivity through indirect pathways, fat mobilization can become easier, not dramatically, but subtly. Over 30 days, that might show up as less bloating, slightly improved waist circumference, or more stable appetite control. Another layer is satiety signaling. Highly processed foods engineered with refined carbohydrates and seed oils are designed to be hyper-palatable. They bypass normal satiety cues. When those foods are removed, hunger regulation often improves. People feel full with less volume. Cravings decline. Again, is that because linoleic acid itself is addictive? No. It's because the food matrix changed. Now consider skin health. Linoleic acid deficiency can impair skin barrier function, but excess omega-6 relative to omega-3 may contribute to inflammatory skin conditions in susceptible individuals. If cutting seed oils shifts the inflammatory balance and reduces processed food intake, some individuals may see improvement in acne or redness, but that effect is highly individual. There is also the insulin angle. Chronic high omega-6 intake combined with high sugar intake may exacerbate insulin resistance indirectly via inflammatory pathways. If insulin sensitivity improves when overall diet quality improves, that's a meaningful outcome. Stable insulin levels reduce fat storage signaling and improve metabolic flexibility. Your body's ability to switch between burning glucose and fat efficiently, but here's the nuance. Seed oils used in reasonable amounts within a diet rich in vegetables, fiber, omega-3 fats, and adequate protein are unlikely to cause harm in isolation. Large epidemiological studies do not show consistent catastrophic outcomes from moderate consumption of properly handled vegetable oils. In fact, replacing saturated fats with certain polyunsaturated fats has been associated with reduced LDL cholesterol in some contexts. The internet narrative often ignores dose and environment. The issue is excess and processing. 30 days without seed oils will not magically detox your body. There is no hidden poison leaving your cells. But it can reveal how much of your previous diet depended on industrial food systems. You may find yourself cooking more, reading labels, eating more whole ingredients. That behavior change alone alters metabolic inputs dramatically. By the end of 30 days, you might notice your taste preferences shift. Highly processed snacks may taste overly salty or greasy. Your palate recalibrates. That recalibration influences long-term eating patterns more than a single fatty acid ever could. So what would realistically change in 30 days? Your inflammatory markers might decrease slightly if your previous diet was heavy in processed foods. Your omega-6 to omega-3 ratio may begin trending toward balance if you consciously increase omega-3 intake. Your blood sugar stability may improve if refined carbohydrates decrease. Your digestion may feel lighter if fried foods are removed. Your energy may stabilize if oxidative stress exposure decreases. But if your previous diet was already whole food based, moderate, balanced, and low in fried processed items, cutting seed oils alone may produce minimal noticeable change. And that's the honest answer. Real medicine doesn't exaggerate, it examines mechanisms. The question is not, are seed oils poison? The question is, in what context are they consumed, at what dose, and in what overall dietary pattern? If you try 30 days without them, do it properly. Replace them with high-quality fats, increase fatty fish intake, maintain adequate protein. Avoid simply swapping industrial oils for equally processed alternatives. Observe carefully, then decide. Because biology is rarely about villains, it's about balance, dose, and system interaction. Let's break illusions, including the illusion that one ingredient alone controls your health. This is real medicine.